What's up, YouTube family? Welcome to this latest episode of the Mufasa Sports Club. I'm your host, Mufasa, as you already know. Please continue to subscribe to the channel. Continue to share the videos. Make sure you like them as well. Leave us your comments. I want to hear from you. And I want to thank you for the continued support to the program. We're talking about the Game 3 that happened between the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. That ended up with the Pacers winning this game and taking a 2-1 lead against the Pacers. This was a game that was super interesting to watch, high intensity. Wasn't sure of what the outcome was going to be in this game, to be quite honest with you guys. But as I said in my previous video, one thing that I knew for sure was that for the Pacers to have a chance to win, they were going to need Tyrese Haliburton to be way more aggressive than what he was in Game 2. And also they were going to need the role players to play better, because role players usually play better at home. And this is exactly what happened. You got Tyrese Haliburton, kudos to him, ends up with almost a triple-double tonight. 22 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds. Great performance by Tyrese Haliburton, even though I still think he could have been way more aggressive, especially in the first quarter of this game. But he still manages to, put out some clutch points at some specific clutch moment of the game, and just a great performance by him, as well as Pascal Siakam, who was also super aggressive at the beginning of the game, especially in the first quarter. You could see that there was a collective effort to get him going real early in the game, and they were able to achieve that. So really good game also by Pascal Siakam, especially in the defensive end as well, where he had some very crucial play throughout the game, matching up with Jalen Williams, sometimes Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Really good game by Pascal Siakam as well. I think one of the major keys of this game were actually the benches. You got the Oklahoma City Thunder bench, like I was saying in my previous video as well. One of my biggest questions was, how are these role players from the Thunder going to travel? Are they going to be able to deal with the pressure that comes with playing on the road in a hostile environment? And this is exactly what happened tonight. You have a guy like Aaron Wiggins, who scored 20 plus points, if I'm not mistaken, in Game 2 in Oklahoma. And he comes out here now and scores a goose egg, 0 points in 10 minutes in this game. Isaiah Joe barely played 4 minutes, but was able to bring 6 points. Alex Caruso was not that efficient, but still a good game from him, but not a whole lot of productivity from the bench. They end up with just, let me do the quick math here, 4, 8, 6, so about 18 points from their bench, as opposed to the Pacers bench that actually came in and was super productive tonight with 27 plus 10 plus 8 and 4, so that's about 49 points, as opposed to 18 from the bench from the Pacers. And this is why I kept on saying the benches are going to be a big factor in these games, especially when your star players are not delivering well. But again, role players play well at home, and role players tend to struggle on the road. So you can see the difference here. You got a guy like Benedict Mathurin, who was barely averaging 10 points a game in this series, who plays his first game at home and comes up with 27 points off the bench off of 22 minutes with a plus 16 in his plus minus. This is exactly what I was talking about. The comfort of playing at home in front of your home crowd, your family, and all this stuff. And it's just great to see. And I cannot stress enough what TJ McConnell brings onto this Indiana Pacers team. This guy brings in so much fire, intensity, dedication, and he's just so relentless and so motivated to turn things around when he comes into the game, and that's just a great asset to have from the Pacers. For the Pacers, he ends up tonight with 10 points, but man, his impact on the game was just amazing. I can remember one of those plays that he had where he scores. I think he scores a bucket. Then no, I think Siakam actually scores a bucket in the beginning of the fourth, if I'm not mistaken. And TJ McConnell actually quickly positioned himself to kind of slow the inbound pass from the Pacers, and then because he was in such a great position, was able to steal the ball on that inbound pass and scores an extra point there, right there. Those are momentum plays, like I keep on saying, that kind of change the outcome of the game. So great job from the Pacers bench tonight in helping the starter, taking care of business at the end of the fourth quarter and taking that game away from the Thunder. Another thing that I also wanted to point out was this great coaching by Rick Carlisle one more time. This was a defense by committee on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and because Bennedict Mathurin was in foul trouble early, Andrew Nembhard and Ben Shepherd was the defense by committee that you were able to see tonight against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It was either him or it was either Nembhard or Shepherd in a rotation on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And even though he's still a big guard who can, still find his way, he ends up with 24 points, even though he had a rough night. But these guys were able to hold him because you can never stop a great player, completely shut him down. So the most he can do is just try to make his life difficult, and that's exactly what these guys were able to do. And I cannot stress enough the great job that Rick Carlisle has been doing coaching this team, going deep once again tonight with 10 players off the bench, even though Thomas Bryant barely played 3 minutes in this game. But guys like Obi Toppin came up huge for the Pacers tonight, even though you cannot really see that on the scoring board per se, but he was really good on defense. Got about 6 rebounds, 8 points. Really good performance by Obi Toppin. Pascal Siakam, like I said. Miles Turner didn't really have a great game, but was able to have some clutch defensive plays in the fourth quarter, and they were able to manufacture about 19-20 turnovers from the Thunder tonight. Great game by the Pacers. Excited to see how the Thunder react in Game 4 of this series. One thing that I noticed on the Oklahoma City Thunder side is the fact that they seemed rattled, especially when they don't have the lead. And this was one of my fears with the Thunder, because they blew so many teams out during the regular season that they didn't have to face adversity, tight game situations so much up until maybe I want to say the Denver series, where they were able to overcome that. But because you're facing the team that has a deeper bench, of course they don't have a Nikola Jokic, but they have a deeper bench than the Denver Nuggets, and they play by committee out here, where any given night you could have 5-6 players in double digits with the Pacers. So now it's a different ball game for them, and they really seemed rattled, seemed lost at some points during the game, especially when they have to come back from a deficit and try to take back a lead, or take over a game coming from behind. So it's gonna be interesting to see what adjustment does Mark Daigneault come up with for Game 4, like I'm saying, because to be honest with you guys, I think this is a must-win game for the Thunder. You don't want to go down 3-1. The odds of you coming back from that is really tough, especially with the Pacers having one more game at home. And on top of that, it's just too much pressure, especially for a young team that doesn't have a whole lot of playoff experience like the Thunder. Even though Chet Holmgren came up really aggressive and really good in the beginning of the game in the first quarter. Him and Jalen Williams tried to, instill some confidence and some motivation in this team, but the Pacers just did a great job at weathering the storm and going play by play, and they ended up on top on this game on this match tonight. So I think this is really interesting to forecast. As I'm talking about Game 4 right here. How much pressure can the Thunder really take? It's going to be one of those things. If the Pacers do go on a crazy run in the beginning of that Game 4, how do the Thunder respond to that? Especially once again in a hostile environment. Aaron Nesmith was not super productive tonight because he was in foul trouble. So what happens if he goes in and start hot with like 3-4 3-point shots? Especially with him being like such a deadly shooter, what happens? How do the Thunder respond? You know what I mean? It's gonna be interesting to see. And I think one of my biggest issue with McDaniel's lineups, I mentioned that at the beginning of this series, even though it was kind of productive in game 2, I think you need to play that double big lineup more. I think it helps, one, even though you lose on speed, it helps when it comes to offensive reboundings and also defensive rebounds. It also helps with protecting the paint and making sure that you still got guys like Jalen Williams, SGA, and Lou Dort on the perimeter that can still play defense with these Pacers guards. So I think you need to give him more chances. Isaiah Hartenstein coming off the bench right now is barely playing 18 minutes. I know he hasn't been playing so much more in the regular season, but the fact that they were starting with the double big lineup and the confidence and the comfort level that they have with this lineup and them being so dominant, I'm not sure why McDaniel is not giving it at least a chance, maybe in the starting lineup or a longer run during some sequences of the game. So again, it's gonna be interesting to see what the adjustments are on both teams. I think the Pacers still come out really aggressive in game 4, trying to take a 3-1 lead. Tyrese Haliburton, most of them had a good game, but they didn't have a great game. You didn't really have anybody going crazy. So this could still be interesting if anybody on the Pacers team goes for like a 35 point night, or like a 5 3-point shots, 7 3-point shot streak during this game. Or like I always say, you never know what could happen in playoff games. Somebody might get hurt, somebody might get ejected. So it's gonna be interesting to see what the outcome of this game is going to be. One thing that I know for sure is that the Thunder do not want to go down 3-1 and facing an elimination going back to Oklahoma City. So we're gonna be coming back to you guys and giving you guys our breakdown of game 4. Again, I'm not really good at predictions, but let's just see and hope that we have an exciting game as well in game 4. And once again, that was me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share your comments, your opinion on the program, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Ciao, guys.